life got flipped, turned upside down, and I'd like to take a minute, just sit right there. I'll tell you how I became the prince of a town called Bel Air. In West Philadelphia, born and raised on the playground is where I spend most of my days. Chilling out, maxing, relaxing, all cool and all, shooting some b-ball outside of the school when a couple of guys.
Welcome back to Theme Part 2. Yes, you might recognize that song. Great Fresh Prince of Bel Air. Taking me, Mr. Ward, back to his 8th, 9th grade years of high school. Anyway, that is the theme song. A lot of shows have theme songs, but when we call theme songs, it doesn't really pertain to theme of literature that is different, as you learned in Part 1, and should know by now, theme is the life lesson learned. What we're going to work on today is analyzing the text for hidden meanings and advice. What advice is the writer giving us through this literary work? Let's explore more. This would be an example of a text. Jenny Pushovier was so excited. She had a pack of Starbursts in her lunch, and she had been looking forward to eating them all morning. Lunch finally came, and Jenny sat down to eat her Starbursts when her friend Judy, you the best, sat next to her. "Let me get the pink ones," asked Judy. That doesn't sound like a question, it sounds like a demand, but anyway. Jenny liked the pink ones best, but she thought Judy was funny, and Jenny wanted Judy to like her, so Jenny gave Judy all of her pink Starbursts. How nice. Before Jenny was done giving Judy the pink ones, Carrie said on the other side of Jenny, "Let me get the red and the orange ones, Jenny. Remember when I gave you that Snickers?" Well, Jenny didn't remember that, though she did remember when Carrie ate a whole Snickers in front of her. But Jenny thought Carrie was cool, so she gave her the red and the orange Starbursts. Now that she only had the yellow ones, Jenny wasn't so excited about eating Starbursts anymore. We need to figure out what the theme of this is. What piece of advice could the writer possibly be giving us from this little passage? What do we do? How do we do this? Let us explore. Identifying themes. They are not explicit. The writer is not going to say, "The theme of this story is." You have to make inferences. This is why we have to analyze, which means, you hopefully remember, break apart the text and really dig deep to figure out what is the theme, what's going on. Themes are implied, as we just said, you have to make some inferences. They're bigger than the story. Our theme is not going to be that Judy gave up all her Starbursts. It's going to be bigger. So you have the small world of the story, and this is kind of the subject. And then you have to think, how does it apply to the real world? And then come up with a thematic statement, a sentence, as we have talked about. Make sure we get that in the slide there. See the small world, and then the big one. All right, they're about the big picture. Not yellow Starburst taste bad. That would go with the small world of the story. Not Judy and Carrie are bad friends. Again, small world, that pertains specifically to the story. You need to think bigger. Think bigger. Find real world advice. So moving back to this one. Jenny Pushovier was so excited. She had a pack of Starbursts in her lunch, and she had been looking forward to eating them all morning. Lunch finally came, and Jenny sat down to eat her Starburst when her friend Judy sat next to her. You can read the rest of this again. All right. What subject, what topic, what word do we think the theme revolves around? Let's take a minute and think. We might say friendship. That could be one. There might be others. But let's explore this further, shall we? I think we shall. Start by finding the topic about which the reader learns a lesson. Example, friendship, as we just said. Sharing could be another one. Maybe you had sharing. It's cool. Part 2, we have our topic. Find the textual evidence regarding the topic subject that will help us understand the lesson learned and create a thematic sentence. So we need to go back to this and figure out what's happened around, we're going to go with friendship. So Jenny likes these, and I'm going to say that Jenny wanted Yudi to like her, so she gave her all the pink ones. Well, that has something to do with friendship. She wants to be liked by this Yudi clown, so I gave him away. And then Carrie's cool. Carrie ate a whole Snickers bar, but Jenny thought, alright, she's cool, I want to be friends. Take the red and orange ones. So there's some textual evidence. And then Jenny's not so excited anymore. So we have those 3 items going on. Jenny wants you to like her. Jenny thinks Carrie's cool, even though Carrie ate the whole Snickers in front of her. Didn't share. How rude. And now she's giving everything except the yellow ones away, and she doesn't like the yellow ones. Synthesize the information you have, specifically the evidence, to create a thematic statement. So what do we think we're learning about friendship from all that? How is the information applied to the big world, the real world? In this case, you might come up with something such as, again, you can't buy true friendship. Jenny's giving away all the Starbursts to Yudi, to Carrie. They really treated her like friends. She's trying to buy them. It doesn't work. And there are other ways to phrase it. So review. Theme is what we can learn from the story. They must be inferred. Big world, real world advice. And now you're going to get a worksheet with some of these on there. I want you to put the topic and subject, the evidence, find a real world statement. When you get to this point, let your teacher know he or she will provide you with said worksheet.